You've traveled the world now a lot with ArtPrize, and I'm always amazed how much you're on the road when it's not ArtPrize season.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Grand Rapids, and I wonder, did you grew up in Grand Rapids?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I grew up here too, but you begin as you get older to get a little more of a perspective of what the city is and sort of that culture that's here, whatever that makes us us.
Yeah.
Or in some respects. Do you have a better handle of like the fly on the wall sort of perspective of what Grand Rapids is from your own? Like you mentioned what's unique. You said Grand Rapids is so unique. So what is
Yeah.
it that's different than Miami? It's different than Italy.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like cross-cultural, different
Yeah.
languages, but maybe just is there something, two or three things that's like Grand Rapids is this?
It's hard because I'm in my love-hate relationship with Grand Rapids. The last few days it's been strained, which is a whole other thing. But no, I mean I think that there's this kind of like Protestant industriousness here.
Hard workers.
Yeah,
right?
hard workers. There's like there is this sort of Michigan Rust Belt mentality of industry, but I think it's more design. It has more of a design pedigree.
Yeah.
With the furniture industry, not that the auto industry doesn't have a design component, but at least culturally, it's just more associated with questions of labor and things like that. Whereas, and not that that doesn't exist here, but there's this design, with Kendall and with these big furniture manufacturers, and I think that does make a difference. I don't know. It's funny.
It's kind of in that whatever. It's kind of like with that DNA thing. You can't really change, but like we talked about, even being at the airport, and sometimes I know which gate is mine, as if I'm flying to Grand Rapids, connecting into Grand Rapids. I could just look at the people waiting in that area without looking at where that gate's going.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to Grand Rapids.
Yeah. Oh, and the other ones are different.
Yeah.
Altogether. Like
Totally.
when you go through those things, then it's like all the regional flights
Yeah.
going out. Like that one's going to Little Rock.
That one's going to Oklahoma because there's a couple guys with 10-gallon hats on.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Then, and then
I know.
here it's like there's a
more or
certain
less
look.
stereotypical.
Yeah.
No, in the traveling I've done to other cities, I've been to a lot of other big cities, but also other mid-sized cities and things like that. And I remember for some reason, it was like I took these 2 trips, and they're for different reasons, but one was to Minneapolis and one was to Dallas. And I was talking with people and having these meetings around stuff we were working on in those places. And I had this similar situation in both cities where it was like people talked about the city almost the way that they would talk about a sibling.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like if I haven't seen your brother in a long time, like what is he up to?
Yeah.
And you have to you think for a second till you have to be like, okay, I have to somehow say he got divorced, but I also have to brag about his new job, and I have to, it's
there's measurement.
There's this measurement to where they're trying to be like, I am proud of it, and I do want to boost it, but I also how do I tactfully acknowledge
How do we
the
warn
crap,
people of the underbelly of
the crap that we're
bugs you?
stuck in and that we can't deal with and we don't know why. And so there's this weird kind of measured way that people talk about their own cities.
Yeah.
And I feel that about Grand Rapids and sometimes I'm put in these situations where I have to kind of be a booster around it, but I always try to be measured. I try to be honest about it and be like, I think this is a great place, but
no place is for everybody and no place is, perfect. I think we put certain cities because we don't spend a lot of time there on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And when you're visiting, you're seeing the best parts. You're living at a standard that you wouldn't normally live. You're going to eat in restaurants or go out and experience nightlife on a level that you would not do day to day if you live there. So, the commute becomes part of the drudgery of it. And, your ignorant neighbors are another thing, and other inspiring people are another part of it.
And I totally think that living in a city and visiting a city are 2 totally different things. Like I lived in New York for a period, and I visit there probably twice a year or more now, for the past, a long time. And so I love going to New York, and I have a good familiarity with it, and I can get around easily. And it's like public transportation and whatever else is not intimidating to me because from living there for a little while, I get it. And I'm just like, man, this is the best place to visit and the worst place to live. Like I don't want to have to navigate
I feel
how to do this more than
I feel the same
3
way about
days.
LA. I feel the same way about a lot of bigger cities that I love to. I live over my budget. I'm there usually for work or whatever. I wouldn't do the things that I would normally do, and also the experiences feel fresh. You're stimulated by audio, audio, visual. You're taking it in. I often am reminded how flat my own mind's eye my perception of Grand Rapids and West Michigan is, and Michigan in general, it's super flat. And then I'm looking, sometimes I try to look, I actually do this as an exercise sometimes. Maybe it's more from a photography perspective. It's like, what if I just opened my eyes and this was a city and I didn't know anything about it? Well, then the elevation takes a little different scale.
Yeah.
The buildings take a little different scale. I try to see some things occasionally. It's a fun little exercise to try sometimes. It never fully works because you're always like, yeah, that's the building there. And that's where I was 21 and went out and had too much fun. And this Full Exposure podcast episode has been made possible through the support of Metro Health, University of Michigan Health, and Dr. Peter Hahn, who believe that creativity and the arts are essential to a rich, healthy, and fulfilling life.